Anyone with good taste loves cartoons and movies, whether because they're incredibly fun or because they often teach us valuable lessons.
Kitty has to go.
But did you know that all of your favorite animated films are packed with incredible behind-the-scenes facts? And Dogman is no exception. Even before DreamWorks' animated movie was announced, the story was already a sensation, since the film is based on a hugely popular children's book series. One of the most beloved characters among fans is Petey the cat. He has an amazing personality and an equally cool design. But here's the thing, his appearance wasn't created from scratch. In fact, it's pretty clear that his visual style is heavily inspired by another famous fictional cat, Garfield. Petey is an orange cat with black stripes, one of Garfield's signature traits. The main difference is that Garfield is short and chubby, while Petey is tall and slim. Their personalities also aren't very alike. Petey is highly intelligent and aggressive, while Garfield is just sarcastic and lazy. This is a great example of how existing characters can inspire new ones while still keeping them unique. Pretty cool, huh? And that's just the first of 16 amazing facts you need to know about cartoons and movies. So get ready, because another episode of Cinewave is about to start. When Wish, The Power of Wishes was released, Disney unexpectedly caught the attention of a surprising group, Super Mario Bros. Fans. Why? Because one of the film's characters, the Wishing Star, looks strangely similar to Lumily, the star from the Mario movie who has been a part of the franchise since Super Mario Galaxy. The resemblance is undeniable. Both stars share almost the same shape and facial features. The only obvious difference is their colors. So what do you think? Copy, inspiration, or just a crazy coincidence? Despite being incredibly powerful, Sonic has a really silly weakness. He can't swim. This has been part of his character since the very first games and is carried over into almost every adaptation, including the movies. In Sonic the Hedgehog 2, there's even a scene where he almost drowns because he can't get to the surface. What's funny about this is that the original creators of Sonic in the 90s assumed hedgehogs couldn't swim, but real-life hedgehogs actually have no trouble in water. Even after realizing their mistake, they decided to keep Sonic's weakness because it made him a more interesting character. Have you ever noticed that many Disney princesses don't have last names? Anna, Elsa, Snow White, Rapunzel, Aurora, they're all known only by their first names or nicknames. Moana almost broke that pattern as she was originally going to be called Moana Wailiki. Screenwriter Jared Bush confirmed that this was her full name in early versions of the film, when the story was still very different from what made it to theaters. Maybe the last name was removed because it was difficult to pronounce? There's no official reason, but it's an interesting mystery. Since he's a demigod, Maui from Moana doesn't age, even though he's been alive for thousands of years. According to him, he's 3,000 years old. Considering that the events of Moana likely take place around 2,000 years ago, that means Maui was probably born around 3000 BC. One fascinating question remains. Since he became a demigod as a baby, did he age super slowly, spending decades as a child? Or did he grow up normally until he reached his 30s and then stop aging? What do you think makes more sense?
You're measuring the stars, not giving the sky a high five.
The Minions are the trademark of Despicable Me and Illumination Studios, and they're easily some of the most famous animated characters ever. Of course, their goofy looks and fun personalities are a big reason why, but credit also goes to the man behind their voices, Pierre Coffin. Yep, one single person voices all the little yellow creatures in the franchise. Fun fact, Pierre Coffin is also the co-director of the movies. That's what you call a multi-talented person. And if you love these little yellow guys, drop a hashtag Minions in the comments. Speaking of Minions, have you ever noticed that there are no female Minions? It's not something most people think about, but once you do, it's actually pretty weird. Someone once asked Pierre Coffin, the creator and voice behind the Minions, why they're all male, and his response was hilarious. Seeing how dumb and silly they are, I just couldn't imagine them being girls. Fair point, right? Even though the idea that boys are goofier and girls are smarter isn't always true, it's still hard to picture Gru's little henchmen as females. Although, to be fair, they have dressed up as girls before. Interestingly, even though they're always referred to as he, the Minions technically aren't male or female. They don't even have the ability to reproduce. The Madrigal family in Encanto is so big that you might not even remember everyone's special gift. But did you know that their powers were originally going to be completely different? Take Dolores, for example. In the final version of the movie, she has super hearing, but originally, she was supposed to have the ability to cook food that heals people, which is the power that later went to Julieta instead. Meanwhile, Julieta was first imagined with weather-controlling powers, which were ultimately given to Peppa Madrigal instead. Talk about a crazy power swap, huh? Even more proof? In a deleted scene, Dolores' bedroom was supposed to be shown, and it looked like a kitchen filled with chemical mixtures, which has nothing to do with super hearing, but totally fits Julietta's magical cooking theme. The writers of Encanto didn't just put effort into the character's powers, they also put a lot of thought into Camilo Madrigal's name. Camilo's name is a reference to the chameleon, an animal well known for changing colors to blend in, just like Camilo's shape-shifting ability. But that's not the only secret behind his name. He was also named after Camilo Gracia Escobar, the tour guide who helped Encanto's production team while they were visiting Colombia to study the country's culture. This guy must have been really awesome if one of the coolest characters in the movie was named after him. Speaking of scrapped ideas, Elemental removed something way bigger than just a deleted scene. It completely erased the existence of Wade and Ember's child. Originally, Elemental was supposed to end with Wade and Ember having a baby, a living mix of water and fire who would be made of steam. In the end, this idea was cut so the movie could focus more on Ember's relationship with her parents. But hey, if Elemental ever gets a sequel, maybe we'll finally get to see that steam baby after all. Elemental is a super fun movie, but it hides a creepy little detail that makes it kinda disturbing. Since the world in the film is so unique, everything works differently, including the food. Water beings eat ice cubes, fire beings eat charcoal, earth beings eat wood sticks. The disturbing part? All these things come from their own kind. Ice is just frozen water, and wood grows from the earth. So does that mean everyone in Elemental eats part of their own species? That's pretty messed up if you think about it. One of the coolest things about Luca is its beautiful Italian setting. It's super clear from the way the town looks and how the characters speak. But have you ever wondered what year the movie actually takes place? It's obviously set in the past, but when exactly? Well, there's no official confirmation, but we have a huge clue. The money used in the film. This specific bill first started being used in 1947, which means Luca can't take place before that year. The most likely guess? The movie is set in the early 1950s. And all thanks to a piece of money. Luca may be set in the past, but if you want to stay updated on the future of your favorite cartoons and movies, make sure to subscribe to this channel. There's a new video every day just waiting for you. One thing that animated movies and shows love to do is hide clever references and character names, and Zootopia did exactly that with Judy Hopps. At first, her name might seem totally normal, but Hopps is actually a joke. It's a play on the word hop, which makes perfect sense because, well, she's a rabbit, and rabbits are known for jumping high. Pretty clever, right? A similar case happens with Darwin from the amazing world of Gumball. His name is a clear reference to Charles Darwin, one of the most famous scientists of all time, but this isn't just a random tribute. Charles Darwin developed a scientific theory of evolution, which explains how all living beings evolve over time and how all life on Earth originated from water, starting with fish. And what is Gumball's little brother? A fish that evolved and grew legs. Whoever came up with that idea was an absolute genius, no doubt about it. Since we're on the topic of names, there's also something really cool about Gumball's own name. But this time, it's not a reference, it's actually a huge twist in the show. For most of the series, we all think that Gumball has always been his real name, but that's not the case at all. In the Season 3 episode The Name, Gumball finds out that his real birth name is actually Zack. Even Gumball himself had no idea until that moment, and when he learns the truth, he suddenly develops a split personality that goes by Zack. By the end of the episode though, he legally changes his name back to Gumball. Seriously, this show is wild! It's always awesome when a character has little quirks and interests that aren't necessarily important to the plot, but just make them feel more realistic. Disney does this really well, and here's something you probably didn't know. Elsa from Frozen loves geometry. No, this isn't a joke. This detail was actually revealed in the book A Sister More Like Me. But honestly, you can kind of tell just by looking at her ice castles. They're all made of sharp geometric shapes. So what about you? Have you studied geometry yet? If so, do you find it easy or does your brain hurt just thinking about it? We've got 2 super fun videos waiting for you on your screen. If you want the fun to continue, just pick your favorite and keep watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you next time.